25. I just had twins 2 weeks ago.
Ooh.
Or 3 weeks ago.
Congrats.
And I actually had a stroke last week, a small one, but I'm doing better now, and I'm back at work, actually.
Oh, my goodness.
Wow.
I also have a toddler. He's 2. And that being said, about 2 years ago when my son was first born, I got into a really horrible financial decision. This was before I knew the Dave Ramsey show and everything that y'all preach about. I got a car from my wife because we needed 2 vehicles. I was working out of town. And when I say I have a horrible interest rate, it's horrible. It's 22%.
How desperate do you have to be to get a 22% interest rate for a car? That is just unimaginable to me. Absolutely unimaginable.
It was a stupid decision. I'm debating on either doing a voluntary repossession. It's not that I can't afford the vehicle, but it's just I've had the vehicle 2 years and $2,000 has been paid towards the principal.
Man.
Stop. Okay. He says he can't. He says it's not because I can't afford the vehicle. Okay, he's thinking of having it voluntarily repossessed. Now, here's the thing. If you can afford your purchase, big or small, okay? If you can afford it, then you don't say sentences like, I'm thinking of having the vehicle voluntarily repossessed. I've been paying on it for 2 years, and basically it's all gone to interest. You don't say things like that. Instead, you say things like, I bought this vehicle. I got it at a rate that I could afford. The payments are all on time. I'm having no problem at all. And the idea of repossession is totally out of my head. Those are the things that you say. So I'm thinking he's a little bit into Lulu land, okay? Saying things like, oh, gee, it's not I can't afford it. What he's really saying is this. Okay, he's saying that his ego has been damaged and nobody wants to go. Look, those of us who have been flat broke, raise your hand. Okay. Back row, me too. Okay. When you're flat broke and you're trying to save your ego, you're trying to save face. Okay, you say things like, oh, well, I'm just returning this dress, not because I can't afford it. Okay. I just found it wasn't needed for the party. Or, oh, you know what? I really decided to go with a different style handbag. Or things like, I bought this car at 22% interest, right? We try to make ourselves feel better by saying things that make us perhaps not look like such a loser in the other person's eyes. Oh, come on, you guys. I know you know what I'm talking about. Okay, I've been there. All right. Oh, I'm not going to dinner with you guys to this really fancy restaurant because I have other commitments. No, that's a real way of just saying your broke ass can't afford it, and neither can I. So it also means that he's not yet ready to embrace the circlehood of admitting the fact that he really is broke and he can't afford whatever his lifestyle is. 22%.
$100 a month payments. Another thing being.
Wait, hold on. I missed just that part. Okay, hold on.
2 years and $2,000 has been paid towards the principal with $500 a month payments.
Now, here's the kicker. The payments really aren't that bad. The most I would want, okay, for me right now, by the way, I turned 58 on July 4th and I start celebrating my birthday early. Okay. Thank you to those with the well wishes of birthday. Hey, never too early to celebrate. Here's the thing. The $500 really isn't that bad. It's not. But the 22% interest will kill you every time. What does this remind us of? Where might we take something and find that even though we can afford the payments, we can't ever get ourselves out of debt? Student loans. Okay. Oh, yes, you can afford let's just make it up, $400 a month payment as you're sitting on a $50,000 bill. Not hating or shaming. All right. We don't do that on this channel. Okay. But it's the reality of it. So his $500 payment, I'd say that's cool. At 22%, it's just like a student loan to some extent. He's going to have to turn it in most likely. And don't forget, he's got twins also.
Another thing being said, I did recently get approved to get refinanced at a lower interest rate. Still not great, but it's at 13%.
I'll take it.
So I'm basically.
Yeah. Better off having the 13% than the voluntary repo. Because you know, from my repossession in my 30s, I have changed the air of my ways. Even if you turn the car over, you're going to owe the difference. And if you don't have the money for the difference, guess where you're going to file? Bankruptcy. my bankruptcy wasn't even that much for the car. I think it was something like 16,000 for the car. That was bankruptcy one in my 30s. Bankruptcy in my 20s was for 25,000. Pennies today, most likely. But it's still, when you don't have the money and you're already pulling two jobs. I was holding about a job and a half to the point that I was getting sick. There just got the point where you have to say you screwed it up, game over, start over. I had to start over a couple times, but hey, at least we're here today, right?
Asking if I should refinance it or just go ahead and do a voluntary repossession.
Why can't you sell it? How far underwater are you?
It's pretty bad. The vehicle's worth $7,500 and I owe about $18,200.
Damn. Holy cow. 18 and the vehicle's worth $7,500. You know, if you think about college degrees, it's kind of like let's just make up some numbers. I spent $40,000 on the college degree, but it's really only worth 15.
It was a horrible decision on my part. At the time, I was extremely, extremely desperate for a vehicle. Went to the first place I could, didn't even look around. She needed a vehicle, and I needed my truck for work. I was working about 4 hours from home at the time and staying out of town. And she, of course, had our newborn son, my oldest one, who is currently 2.
So he's got 3 kids, all under the age of 2. Wow.
What other debt do you have?
Wait. Let's back up here first, George, before we go there. Did you hear what he said about the vehicle and the desperation he was in, how desperate he was? Oh, by the way, before I forget, I have coming up here at the end, and I don't really, hold on here. Let me go find it right here. I think it is. This credit card documentary talks about desperation. It's coming up at the end. It is long. I toiled long and hard on it. Okay. It's my older style. It's almost 2 hours long. But, you know, part of the reason I did this documentary is I want people to understand how desperation leads you to be victimized, whether you're being victimized by the credit card company, victimized by your car dealership, whatever. When you are desperate and your finances are out of control, you do desperate things. But the problem is all those desperate things do is they just simply sink you. So I really hope you guys will watch that because I personally think it's worth it. But here's the thing. He was so desperate. And why was he desperate? Because he failed to, let's be really honest here, okay? He failed to plan before having a family. Yes, go ahead, throw the rotten tomatoes, whatever. Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments. All good, all right? Had he and his wife planned a little bit better to have, the financial stability needed, perhaps, before they had another child. They already had one child, and then they were hit with twins, okay? Which is awesome. I mean, twins are just wonderful, in my opinion, all right? But still, he was not financially prepared for it. And it sounds as though they never financially prepared for it. It was almost like babies, literally, okay? Babies arrived, and now we're trying to make a plan. Yet, kind of like the phrase, you're going to be late before you're late. The baby's coming before the baby's due.
I have a credit card I owe $400 on. I'm actually going to pay that off today. And then I have my truck, which I owe $7,000 on. That the truck loan, it is a low interest rate because I did a collateral loan on it. We moved into a house renting it, and it was.
What's the truck worth?
The truck's worth pretty much what I owe on it. It's worth about $9,500, and then I have a vehicle.
I thought it was worth $7,500. I missed something.
That is paid off, another truck. So the reason I was debating voluntary repossession of the Jeep was I would give her the truck that I currently owe on. It's a nicer truck, big back seat. It'll fit all 3 of the kids, the double stroller in the back.
Okay, all right. How many vehicles does this guy have? I'm just kind of curious, how many vehicles does this guy have? Because I'm losing track. Jamie, if you're watching this, keep count, would you?
And it's got the best AC I've ever had.
Why can't you drive the paid off truck?
All right, we're going to stop here. I want you guys to hear what I'm hearing, okay? Did you hear a litany of excuses as to why they have this truck? He goes, it's got the best AC I've ever had. It's big, it's roomy, yada, yada. And what is his excuse for having that truck? Because the babies or the children. How often have we heard people, and you know, we've heard this on the Ramsey show multiple times, okay? I have this really nice car, or truck, okay? I have this vehicle payment I cannot afford, but I have to have it because, we have to have a really reliable vehicle. We have to have something for the children, yet you're going broke. I literally have lost track of how many vehicles they have. I thought they had two, but then he kept saying this truck, that truck, and this Jeep. You see where the problem is. Yes, there is no budgeting. And this is what you call, what's the word? Instead of responding, there's some phrase out there. Somebody help me with, okay? It's like reacting instead of pre-planning and having your, responsibilities mapped out, you simply react.
And it's got the best AC I've ever had.
Why can't you?
Yes, that's where I left off at. Because of the fact that the excuse is that we have this big, nice truck for the kids. All right, there was a power failure, so we are continuing on again.
Drive the paid off truck and sell the truck with the loan on it.
That's what I'm currently doing. I'm currently driving my paid off vehicle for work. I'm a welder, and then my other truck,
you said there's $2,000 in equity in that one.
Yeah, I could probably, if I were to sell this one, the paid off one, I could probably get about $6,000 or $7,000 for it.
So why can't you sell that one and drive the one that's got $7,000 to go?
Because it's kind of a funny situation with that one.
That was a long pause.
That one, I don't necessarily make the payment on it, if that makes sense. I have 12 siblings, and one of my younger brothers is actually.
Did you catch that? He has 12 siblings.
Actually making the payment on it every month. So he pays the insurance, he pays the payment every month.
Okay, I'm beginning to understand the title. It said the title of this show of this Ramsey episode is titled this financial inbreeding needs to stop. Now I understand. So he has a truck. He's not worried about the payment because one of his other 12 siblings is making the payment for the truck. This tells me this guy is potentially, and I don't think I'm wrong, and you probably aren't either. He is so irresponsible with money. He needs help making his vehicle payments. Now, he's got twins. So he's got 3 kids, like I said earlier, under the age of 2. This is not going to improve. In other words, I see this family, meaning husband and wife, I see them as being a broke couple. This is going to be the type of couple that calls into the Dave Ramsey show and, I don't know, give it another 10, 15 years, saying they have nothing for retirement. They're broke. They sent their kids off to private school and out of state, and they have absolutely no money. This is the type of couple that I could see struggling for years and years, if not decades, financially. Have you ever seen couples like that? Like sometimes, let's be honest here. Sometimes we listen to the Ramsey shows just to make ourselves feel better. Like, oh, okay, I thought my $15,000 loan was horrible and awful, and that's all I have until I heard that this person has $285,000. Right? We do that sometimes. That's because we, as at least as I got more financially trained and aware, I began to go, wow, you can almost, not totally, but to some extent, you can look at someone's not lifestyle, because it isn't always, a indicator, but you can look at people, their lifestyle, spending habits, and all of that. And if you have an inkling as to what their income might be, you can kind of go, wow, how do they afford all that? How do they live like that? How do they drive that car? And you begin to realize that it's all being done on credit, all of it, or other people are lending them money. So he's got a sibling paying this other vehicle. And I'm wondering if that sibling wants him to pay them back. But now we understand the financial inbreeding part, because I thought that's an awfully weird word to use, but now I get it.
It was to kind of help him out in a sense and to kind of get rid of that payment for me.
How was that helping him out?
Well, because...
Hold on. We're going to back just that up, just a hair.
I have 12 siblings, and one of my younger brothers is actually making the payment on it every month. So he pays the insurance, he pays the payment every month. It was to kind of help him out in a sense and to kind of get rid of that payment for me.
You got a sibling that's making your vehicle payment, making your insurance payment. Are they paying your gas too? Are you that incompetent? And he's got, like I said, 3 kids under the age of 2. How do you think this family is going to hold up financially?
How is that helping him out?
Well, because
he's making a payment on a car he doesn't drive.
Is he on it, or did you guys co-sign together?
No, the loan's completely in my name. My dad wrote us up a contract to where once the loan's paid off, the title goes to him. And then if for some reason he doesn't want the vehicle by the time he pays it off, then everything he put into it, if he does not get any of it back, it would just go towards the loan balance. And then I would.
Okay.
This is stupid. Absolutely stupid. Are they all this dumb? I mean, really? So let me see. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pay your insurance. I'm going to make a car payment. And after all, that's all done. And if his siblings have any sort of lack, if his siblings lack, this brother who's paying this vehicle, if he lacks as much common sense, and it sounds like he does, okay, with money, guess what? That's probably a 5, 6, 7, 8-year car payment. And notice how casually the caller, and I can't see the names. Let me see if I can see here. I can't see the caller's name on my screens yet. I got stuff covering up my stuff. But let's think about this here for a minute. How old is that vehicle going to be by the time he's done paying it? So, okay, sis, I'm going to go ahead and pay you for your vehicle. Let's just make it a 6-year payment. Because, with family like this, sometimes the apples don't fall far from the tree. And just this move that this brother is doing tells me the brother also has his own 22% car payment. So he's got this vehicle that he's going to pay for. And let's just throw out a number, 6, 7 years, it's paid off. And the brother that's paying for it, his reward is to get a vehicle that is 6 to 7, maybe 8 years old, and with nothing paid back. So basically, he just gave his sibling a free vehicle to drive. I don't like to use the word stupid too much, but come on, guys, this is pretty stupid. Just the whole family lacks financial sense, literally and figuratively.
This financial inbreeding, it needs to stop. This is chaos, what you guys have done to your family's finances.
Yeah, it's kind of a sticky situation.
No, buddy, it ain't a sticky situation. It benefits one person, it benefits you, and you're taking advantage of it. And I want you to notice just how casually he discusses the debt. It's almost like he's entitled to this vehicle that his brother is paying for. But we can't say that the brother is a victim because the brother is volunteering to do it. So I think in that case, there aren't a whole lot of bleeding hearts there. But just notice how casually the caller talks about the debt. That is an indicator that the caller really feels that he's entitled to this. Wouldn't we all like that? But that casualness, that's a problem because it shows that he expects the help to be there.
Because he's 18 and he went out and about and he was going to be in the same situation I was in. He was actually he called me for advice today. He was about to. I said,
okay.
Man,
the brother called this idiot for advice. Are you kidding me? The idiot that just signed a 22% truck, car, whatever. The ding dong that's using his brother. Sounds like it's a younger brother from what I can tell now. I could be wrong, but it sounds like a younger brother. There are a lot of details in this call. The idiot that appears, from what I can tell, to be using either a younger brother, but regardless of age, the caller is using another sibling to meet his needs because he can't do it as the man and head of the household.
When you want to call for advice.
Let's not go down. Let's not trace that rabbit too far. So
we're already down the rabbit hole, Jade.
The car's supposed to go to him. There's $2,000 in equity in it. He's been paying the note. Can you just get this out of your hair and just?
Yeah, so that's our next step with the bank. We're actually talking to the bank about getting the truck that I have the loan on out of my name and financing it into his name.
So again. Oh, by the way, the link to this episode will be in the description box. But again, who benefited from this whole thing? Oh, we're trying to get the loan, blah, blah. Who's benefiting? That's a problem because this really isn't an equal sharing of responsibility. As a fact, this guy is a friggin' husband with 3 kids. He should be taking care of his own duties.
Yeah.
The only situation with that is because he's only 18. they're wanting to give him a lot higher interest rate on
Okay,
it.
but that's
Even
not
though
your
nothing down or nothing.
that's
but,
not your problem. You need to give him the ultimatum of, hey, this weekend we either go and move this into your name, or I'm keeping it and I'm doing what I will with it. Like, that ends this weekend. That's
But doesn't that mean he has to give up the vehicle? I feel like I'm missing something here. Okay. Because if I'm correct, the vehicle's in the caller's name. And Jada's saying get it out of the caller's name and into the 18-year-old's name. Hey, how embarrassing. I'm sorry. Husband, father of 3, and your 18-year-old brother is helping you budget your household. This is just stupid. And this just ran yesterday, you guys.
what I'm doing.
And
Yeah.
then what's your household income right now? Is wife staying home with the kids?
yeah, she's a
Of course she is.
stay-at-home mom. I make about currently probably $5,000 a month net.
Okay.
Boo. She can't afford to be a stay-at-home mom for very long. She can't. $5,000 a month. So what is that? 56. You guys know I'm really bad at math. Got $60,000 a year gross. That, and remember what I do. Divide it between 2 people. Hold on, I got to move my chair. You divide it between 2 people, and that becomes what? $2,500 each. You have 2 school teachers, 2 entry level almost school teachers. I'm thinking based off of my paycheck. Okay, I'm thinking based off of my paycheck. So so he says 5,000. I wish I made 5,000. I don't make 5,000, but I am thinking of net. I think he said take home net is 5,000. Okay, so divide that up. So I'm thinking $2,500. What does a school teacher make? Yep, this is a 2 school teacher family of 5.
You guys have a lot of car in your life. You either need to save up the
Yeah.
difference that you're underwater on, or you need to go get a loan for the difference to lower your debt amount. I don't know that you'll qualify for that, but
Beyond having a lot of car in their life, they also just have a whole lot of stupid.